Come along, children. Now we're going to have a little music.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy RB3 for First Cut. And yeah, if you're wondering why I'm sweating right now, it's because I just recorded a whole review for this movie and the whole 40-minute recording just got deleted. So yeah, I'm back at it again. And y'all don't even need to know that. Why would y'all need to know that? You wouldn't even know that. But that's why I'm sweating. So I'm here today to talk about the new Ava DuVernay film, Origin, that is directed by, again, Academy Award winner Ava DuVernay and starring Academy Award nominee Aunjanue Ellis-Taylor. Now, Origin is inspired by the book Caste, The Origins of Our Discontent by Pulitzer Prize winner Isabel Wilkerson. Now, for those unfamiliar, Caste is an award-winning nonfiction book that discusses the interconnectivity of caste systems all across the world, from American slavery to the Holocaust to centuries of caste systems in India. Heavy stuff, right? But instead of translating this material into a traditional documentary format, Ava DuVernay brilliantly adapts the New York Times bestseller into a personal narrative that follows Isabel Wilkerson's extraordinary journey in writing this book. And honestly, the authorship of Caste is just as compelling as the subject matter itself. Representing this story narratively allows the audience to learn about Miss Wilkerson. I actually don't know if it's Miss Wilkerson or Dr. Wilkerson, so I'm just going to refer to her as Miss Wilkerson, but if she's Dr. Wilkerson, I apologize. But, you know, through this story being narrative, you get an opportunity to learn about her as well as her theories and her ideas about caste simultaneously. And throughout the multi-year writing process, we watch Isabel Wilkerson experience a crazy amount of personal tragedy. Now, I'm not going to go into it. You know, you have to watch the movie yourself to know what that means. But, you know, witnessing Isabel lose so much in her life while also still being able to remain composed and determined to finish her work is awe-inspiring in and of itself. That's why the movie is a perfect balance between informative and emotionally resonant storytelling. That's why Aunjanue Ellis-Taylor in this movie is probably my favorite performance of the year. She portrays Miss Isabel Wilkerson with so much poise and intelligence while also not being afraid to let her pain leak out from time to time. In contrast to Miss Wilkerson's hyperintelligence, her inner circle usually tends to bring her down to earth, including her loving husband Brett, that's played by Jon Bernthal, or her quick-witted cousin Marion, who's played by recent Emmy winner Niecy Nash-Betts. Filling out the rest of the cast are more remarkable cameo-level appearances from Vera Farmiga, Blair Underwood, Nick Offerman, Fitt Wittrock, and many more. Some play roles in Isabel's contemporary world, while others play minor characters and serialized subplots throughout the film. As alluded to before, Origin's narrative format also opens the door to several historical anecdotes that further humanize the sprawling story of caste worldwide. Through these stories, we get glimpses into Nazi-occupied Germany, sundown towns in the 1950s, 60s American South, modern looks at Diak communities in India, and so much more. But the most emotionally wrenching cutaway happens near the beginning of the film, where a recent real-life tragedy is reenacted. This scene in particular is heart-stopping. Like literally, my heart skipped a few beats during this moment. And by the time the sequence is over, my face was just flooded with tears uncontrollably. I mean, I couldn't stop crying, sobbing. It genuinely took me about 20 to 30 minutes to fully recover from that moment. And what I will say is that, you know, that is one element of the film that I think will divide some people. In the context of the story, which I'm not going to give away, I'm not going to give away that plot point or that moment at all, because I do want people to see this movie and I want people to experience that, you know, the same way I did. I didn't see any trailers or anything, so I want everybody to see it with an open mind. Now, if you do want an in-depth spoiler analysis and review for this film, my man Andres and I are going to be doing a spoiler review in about a week or so on this channel about this movie, and we're going to be going more into depth about it, but this is the non-spoiler review. But I will say, you know, that scene in the beginning definitely will rock some people. It rocked me. And in the context of the story, of the film story, this experience was the inciting incident that motivated Isabel to write her book, to write Caste. So watching it unfold is crucial to understanding the heart of Miss Wilkerson's work. But that being said, though, you know, the triggering nature of the scene is really not easy to circumvent. In fact, for a good chunk of the movie, I personally questioned whether or not the sequence was necessary or intentional, or was it just included purely for exploitative shock value? But then, I realized this is director Ava DuVernay. This is the same woman who gave us Selma, who gave us 13th, who gave us When They See Us, who also gave us Queen Sugar. My mom's watching. Hopefully she's watching. So if there's anyone in Hollywood who we can trust to keep it real, it's going to be her. It's going to be Ava DuVernay. So I had, after a little bit, during the movie, I set aside my initial apprehension and just enjoyed the film as it was going along, and was immensely rewarded by the end of the movie, because it all comes full circle. It's all, like I said, intentional. I questioned this intentionality before, but in watching it, I'm like, yeah, this was intentional, it was necessary, and it was definitely worth my tears. So that was the most emotionally wrecking scene. The most eye-opening segment of the film comes in Isabel's trip to India, where she's talking to different dyads and different professors in India who are, considered in that dyad class. Historically, dyads, formerly known as untouchables, have been the lowest on the Hindu caste hierarchy. As a result, many dyads in India are subjected to discrimination, poverty, occupation, demoralizing jobs like literally cleaning holes, and so much more. And as Americans, we learn a little bit about caste systems and caste hierarchies in middle school and high school, but reading about it in the history textbook versus actually seeing it in a film and seeing dyads talk about it and actually being mistreated and actually doing the things that they have to do in society today and these times was actually mind-boggling. The Hindu caste hierarchy has been so deeply ingrained into millenniums. I'm not talking centuries, millenniums. I'm talking thousands of years of Indian history that you would almost kind of think like, wow, it seems like impossible to link this to what's happening in America, what's happening in World War II Germany. But the film seamlessly parallels the Black American struggles with the dyads, particularly by highlighting speeches and writings from Martin Luther King Jr. during his time in India, or his writings about his time in India. So it's powerful stuff. Like, I really had no idea that he visited India. He has speeches about India. There's even a joke like he wrote about India in a famous Black American magazine, I think it was either Jet Magazine or Ebony or something like that. And it's just really interesting to learn all of that. And of course, Ava DuVernay, being the director of Selma, the greatest MLK movie ever made, she would of course know very deeply about MLK's relationship with India. And of course, I'm sure all of those relationships and context was also highlighted in the book as well. Similarly, the film also boldly links the struggles of Jews and Black Americans through thought-provoking imagery and discussions. Again, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about what they get into or the anecdotes or the discussions, but it's powerful stuff, and it all ties together. So if you're probably wondering, how does this India, Holocaust, World War II Jews, slavery, how does that all link together? How does that all make sense? And there's even a character in the movie who kind of asked that same question to Isabel at one point, how does all this link together? But you have to watch this movie. It's a must watch to see how everything ties together. And that's why, to me, Origin is undoubtedly the best movie of 2023. Writer-director Ava DuVernay composes a riveting and profound movie that insightfully tackles the unjust divisions that caste systems create all around the globe. And, the film gracefully interweaves breathtaking cutaways and subplots that will live with you forever. I watched Origin a little over a week ago, about a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, a little bit, and I haven't been able to let go of the movie since. It's a think piece with a capital THINK, but you will be enthralled by the end of this journey, unless you're a racist. With that, y'all, those are my thoughts on Origin from Ava DuVernay. I really do hope y'all get to see this movie. I hope everybody sees this movie. It's just coming out in limited release this weekend. Again, we're going to be doing a full spoiler review for it. And again, I know, Oscar nominations come out Monday. And I don't know if this movie came out a little too late to be considered in that Oscar pool, if it's part of the conversation. It definitely needs to be, and it should be, because it's definitely my favorite movie of the year. It's one of the best movies of the year, and I think it should be recognized for that. I know Neon, Neon's been busy, man. They've been booked and busy. They had Infinity Pool this year. They had Ferrari with Michael Mann. They had a lot of movies coming out of Neon, which I get, and they stay pushing them out. But I do wish that we just would have had a little bit more attention, a little bit more love for this movie too. But with that being said, y'all, let me know what y'all think in the comments down below if you've seen the movie or not. If you're not already subscribed to the First Cut YouTube channel, subscribe to us down below. And also if you are subscribed to YouTube and want to follow us on other places, follow us on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter at First Cut TMO. You can also follow me at Director RB3 on all platforms. And you can also, what's the last thing I was gonna say? Oh, Real Ones Podcast. This is me and my boy Jon Marin. We'll be talking about all things cinema, black cinema, but all things cinema on that podcast. So Real Ones is on the First Cut YouTube channel. You can also find it anywhere you get podcasts. Anyway, y'all, this is your boy RB3, and we are peacing out, y'all. Peace. You do the math.